Down.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody in the world, in YouTube land. But I'll tell you, I'm in L Town. He's in K Town, and we are enjoying the day. We skipped a day yesterday. Actually, it was interesting. But good morning to the Pound Hour. We appreciate you stopping on in and checking us out because we got nothing else to do in this world, right? Haha, I'm kidding. No, we're so busy. But right now, actually, we'll get back to that. But right now, Brian was just talking about history and how something in history I've always enjoyed, but wasn't correct apparently. So, Brian, what was that?
Well, I was watching the making of Tombstone, and then I started reading up on the real characters. And apparently, from what I read, Doc Holliday didn't kill Johnny Ringo.
And I love that part. He's like, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody walked over your grave. Absolutely love Tombstone, my favorite one.
Yeah, that circle where they walked in a circle.
Yep, they walked in a
circle. Cool.
Yeah. You're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all.
Yeah. Well, they always change things a little because
sure.
otherwise they'd have to spread that story out so long.
Well, they may have walked in a figure eight instead of a circle. I don't know, or a square. They square dance a little bit. I'm just kidding. I don't know what they did at the fight, but I thought that he did kill Johnny Ringo. You know.
From what I read, but they said he did. It happened later, and they think his friend Frank Leslie. They went out. They were drinking, and things got out of hand. But it was a great movie anyway. And then I found out Virgil, played by Sam Elliott, actually is buried in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I remember his great line was, "Mary, I still got one good arm to hold you." You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I think I said that to my daughter after I had my stroke. Like, I still got one good arm to hold you, Mary. But yeah.
Apparently his last words, Virgil, were to his wife, "Light my cigar and hold my hand," and then he died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get. Don't smoke and don't smoke because.
Well, he was dying anyway.
It brings to death.
It's pretty interesting stuff. They ended up in Portland because he married a girl and the families didn't approve, and then he went off to war. And his wife's father said he died in action, so she moved on. They caught up with they found him later, and then he reunited a little bit with the family. And then when he died, she requested his body moved to Portland, or brought to Portland and buried in the Riverview Cemetery. I thought that was really interesting. That's
pretty cool, actually. I mean, a local little legend there. That's awesome. Yeah. No, but I always. Tombstone is one of my favorite movies of all times, probably because of the time frame that it hit me at. I mean, I was full of piss and vinegar in my teenage years, and that was the culmination of that around 19. When I was 19, that came out. So I've been I'm taking a guess and saying I graduated 91, probably came out in 90, 91, 92?
93.
Okay, so 93, I was 19 years old, absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
That's the year my son Keenan was born, my first kid. So I was watching a lot of TV, I was kind of mellowed out, and I was so impressed by just the look of that.
Yeah.
When Wyatt was standing there, and then a shot up above him with the sky turning into a storm, it was incredible. Kurt Russell was probably the best Wyatt ever, I thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he was. And also, he was very tall and slender in that movie. You know what I mean? It's weird how they do that because she says to him, she says, "Who's that tall drink of water?" And Kurt Russell's like 5'6" or something. I don't know.
I don't know if he's that short, but he doesn't seem tall. And even when he was Snake Plissken, he was buff kind of, but he didn't seem tall. He just seemed normal height, but just tough. Yeah, he was thin. His face was thin. He had that mustache.
Yeah, they pulled that off pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up now because I'm a moron. Kurt Russell's pretty tall, actually. He's 5'11". So, I mean.
Yeah, but that's not what you would call a tall drink of water now.
No. I mean, yeah, no. You'd say, oh, he's 6'7". Jimmy,
you don't hear people bragging, "Hey, this guy's 5'11".
No.
I do.
But
I brag.
if he was slender, I mean, I think I'm like 5'3". I'm kidding, but I was 5'8" in my day, and I'm 5'7" now.
Yeah.
You know.
People were shorter back then. They said the average height of a Civil War fighter, or soldier, was 5'7". 5'7".
Yeah, that's me. There you go. 5'7", 5'8", something like that. I'm getting shorter as the days go on because apparently my HGH that I'm taking, my human growth hormone, is not kicking in. I'm not quite certain about that. I need to take the test. I need to try it. Why not?
Maybe we should try a spiritual growth hormone.
Oh, I'm on that one, baby. Oh, I'm on
something.
I'm on something. Absolutely. Whatever I can do to get myself better. That's the thing, is every day I try to get myself better. All right, there you go. There you go.
Top 10 monologues of all time. We saw it last night.
Yep, top 10 monologues right there. And actually, bring that. Can you bring it closer by any chance?
Yeah, I haven't put it on a final frame yet, but
no. Hey,
this
let me read it real quick. Gotta bring it over there. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. I don't care who you are, or I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody's going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep on moving forward. How much can you take and keep moving forward? That's how winning is done. I'll tell you what. He can say it better than I can, apparently, because that's Sylvester Stallone, but it's a damn good quote in that movie. Yeah.
Well, I coached first grade basketball at the Y, and that's the speech I gave to the kids.
Well, actually, that would have been a long. Well, maybe you did. I don't know. What year was that? That was a while ago.
It would have been about 99.
Well, I don't know. Rocky's been around for a while. He's actually more intelligent than he looks, and I don't mean that he looks dumb at all. But the fact is that he's known for being a boxer, a bruiser.
Yeah.
But Sylvester Stallone himself has done extremely well. I mean, he's highly intelligent.
I think he's a great writer, because that's some great writing there.
Yeah, that's some great writing right there. Yeah, but we got to push ourselves forward and keep on going, because I guarantee you, the sunshine will come up tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a better day, and it may not be a better day, but it will be eventually. I promise. I've been there. Matter of fact, yesterday, what was my day like yesterday, Brian?
Well, I call it a confluence of everything that could go wrong. It was the Murphy's Law. It was the epicenter of Murphy's Law.
It was. I could have been Murphy yesterday. So it was quite interesting. I'll tell a short second about my day there.
I do want to say one thing, though. I think
sure.
it all happened because you usually have that appointment about 1 or 2.
Yeah. Yes, true.
At 10, and it threw everything off.
True. Yeah. So normally I go to Portland rehab, which is I go there for physical therapy because I had this hemorrhagic bleed, the stroke 5 years ago. 5 years ago,
yesterday. 5 years.
5 years ago to the day yesterday. Yeah, and it was my anniversary date of my stroke, I guess you'd say. And they scheduled my appointment earlier in the day, so I went down there, worked with my team, kicked my butt, and it was great. And then as I left there, I realized, something's a little amiss there. Maybe I knew my tire had been low a little bit, but somehow along the way, I popped that tire, and I popped the tire. It was a very slow type of thing, and I'm like, well, shoot, I got another mile to go, and I pulled over, and then I said, I'll keep on going here for the next mile because I don't want to sit there on I-5. So I drove to the gas station. I made it to the gas station, and at that gas station, I started to get out of the car and see if I could fix it. And it was hard for me to fix things too much with one hand and one arm going on, but I figured I'd start doing that. And dawns on me, I have AAA, and if you have AAA, more power to you. That's great. And so I called them, and they said it'll be an hour until somebody comes. And I was like, an hour? Well, I got a lot to do. I have so much to do. And I'm like, that's okay. I can handle an hour. No big deal. And as 2 hours come by, I start wondering what's going on here. Well, of course, remember the snow here. We've had a lot of snow in the last few days. And I called back and they said, oh, I'm sorry. It'll be 3 hours. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I have to leave today, which was yesterday. I had to leave tomorrow to go on a flight to go to Idaho. And I've got stuff to do, people to see, you know.
Yeah.
My life is just go, 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 go today. And so I'm like, well, I'll wait for 3 hours. And then thank God, actually, about within 2.5 hours, a guy shows up and he's really nice, super nice young guy, big dude, 6'5", 6'4". Super nice, named Logan. But he gets out of the car. He's like, I'm gonna tow your truck. And I go, well, I'm not sure I need to really tow. I just need to get my, put my spare on, if that's okay. And he had the jack and everything. He gets there and he jacks it up and he helps me change my tire alone, which is something I simply could do by myself if I have to do, which I was going to do. But I figured they kept on saying they're coming, so it's free. Why not? And so he can't get the tire off my thing, by the way. He can't get my lug nuts are apparently swollen of some sort. My nuts are swollen. My nuts were swollen. They wouldn't come off. And
I've never heard that one before. But lug nuts
my nuts were, no, literally my nuts were
Wow.
swollen and they wouldn't come off. And so he was like bound and determined to help me. He's like, well, I'll put you on top of the, we'll tow you around, tow you off, and we'll go to town. I'm like, that's going to be a few $100 more. That's going to take a few more hours of my time. I don't really want to do that. I find some guy with a white van, super nice guy, by the way, but he's got the white rapist type van.
Yeah.
On the back of it, he's got his black skulls, boom, all over his yeah. But I'm not afraid of anybody. So I walk up to him like, hey, you don't happen to have some tools? Just, oh, I got a truck full of tools. I'm going, awesome. Do you happen to have a tire wrench? And he didn't have the right one. But I go, do you have a hammer? And he goes, absolutely. He pulls out this big old hammer. I'm like, of course he has a hammer. He's a killer. But we get the hammer out of the car. We start working on. I give it to my big buddy there that came to help me, whatever it is, the tow truck guy. He hammers the lug nuts. He hammers the wrench on the lug nuts. Finally gets them off about half an hour later. I mean, we're work on it. And we get them off. And then the guy's like, oh, your tire's so low. I'm like, well, that's great. Well, I will go put some money in his air machine here to pump up the thing, because he didn't have one with him. The tow truck guy didn't have an air jack with him, which is kind of weird. I'm like, duh. I mean, that's the one thing I didn't like. I was like, if you're a tow truck, or if you come to fix my car with a tire, maybe you have some air, you know what I mean? But either way, I go to put the money in the machine, and guess what? I don't have enough. So I'm like, okay, pull out my debit cards. Well, that dawned on me, because it takes credit cards or debit cards. The machine does. The debit cards, my debit cards were frozen by the bank 3 days ago because somebody tried to hack into my system, and I am too freaking lazy in the snow, being cold, to go get new cards.
Well,
Now I'm like,
another thing. There's another layer.
oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
The week before the driver's license.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, it's not taking my debit cards. My debit cards are frozen. They're not going anywhere. So I'm like, no problem. I have plenty of money in my account, and I can use my debit card, my credit card. So you also have that credit card, you're like, just in case, use the credit card. Pop up my credit card, put it in the machine, declined. I'm like, I've never missed a payment. I know there's plenty of money on that credit card. Declined. I'm like, what in God's green earth? And this tow truck guy is watching me unable to pay the $2 amount for air. And he's looking at me like, dude, you are nuts. You're a broke joke. You can't afford $2. I'm like, wait a second here.
You have a nice car that you don't look like a bum. You got to.
Yeah, I have nice. Well, I did kind of look like a bum. I'm wearing my sweats and stuff because I just came back from doing therapy out of the hospital there, so I pretty much look like a bum. I look like I came, you know. It was interesting, but anyway, I call the bank. I see what's going on. They say, "Well, nothing's gonna work today." I felt like that gal from Groundhog's Day. There's no hot water. There's no hot water. She goes, well, there's not gonna be any hot water today. There's obviously not gonna be hot water today. Well, that's exactly how I felt when I called the person from the bank. I go, my cards aren't working. She's like, well, of course your cards aren't working today. I'm like, well, why the hell would that not work? She's like, well, they're all the bank's out of Texas. They're not the bank, but the company's out of Texas. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not. Why the hell is this not working? Well, I'm going to find out that Texas is complete. I didn't realize how bad it was. Texas is in a state of emergency, and everything is blacked out and frozen, and all their computers are frozen. So all of a sudden, you can't use your credit cards, you can't use your debit cards because it comes out of Texas. I'm like, this is BS, but now I know how bad. I had to go home and learn how bad it was in Texas right now because of the blackouts. It was just everything's frozen down there, and so I feel bad for them, and God bless them. Hopefully they're surviving, because people don't have money. They don't have any food. They don't have heat. They don't have anything down in Texas right now. So, that's what you. I'm not going to say anything actually.
Yeah, so you don't mind if the people in Texas are using your credit card. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't mind using my credit card. That's fine. But if they have heat, that's important. If they're alive. Because right now we had a guy die the other day in town here just from hypothermia. Another gal died from some mysterious, probably corona. I don't know.
Last week, Paul, that was on our show, he thought he might die from hypothermia just sitting in my living room. So.
Well, this is true. Yeah. Brian has a tendency to have to pay for it. He's like, I don't want to pay for heat. Why should I pay for heat? He's trying to get so cheap that he gets a girlfriend to feel bad for him and comes over there and just warms him up all the time. That's what it is, right?
It's coach $17. There you go.
Hey, there you go. Why not? But no, so that's what happened. And then the reason, so I go to now I've got to go. Time is of the essence. I have to be on a plane here in another couple of hours, and I've got to go to the DMV. My whole thing was I had to go back to the DMV yesterday because last week my ID, last week in particular, my ID got thrown in the garbage because Safeway, if anybody knows Safeway, they're doing this, they're very pandemic oriented, and they're being very safe, and they're trying to make sure if your pills are your pills and yada yada, and they're checking your IDs. Well, they don't give you back your ID. They put it in the bag, and then they tell you, oh, by the way, your garbage is in that bag with your ID. So what did I do? I basically took my garbage and took my pills, whatever I needed out of that, my medicines, and I threw away my ID. So I've got an ID I'm missing, and I have no credit cards, no debit cards, no cash. Normally I always have cash on me. Yesterday I did not. I found $1.25 in my change in my car. I also have cash, but then I just didn't. And it's just the stupidest thing in the world. Like one thing after another, boom, boom, boom. I can't believe. Normally I have enough cash in my car to pay for dinner somewhere. It's just like it's just stuff laying around. But this car in particular is a little newer, so I haven't really accumulated that much crap in there. Then you've got the guy from the tow truck guy trying to dig in his truck to find change to pay for my air from the machine. I am like, dude, I promise to you, I'm not a hard case. I'm not really that poor off, But I will tell you this. I saw the name of the tow truck, which was JB's out of Kalama, Washington. Well, it just so happens that I do have friends in high places, and a friend of mine purchased that company, JB's towing place, a couple years back. So I emailed him and said, hey, you've got to give this guy a beer for me. Tell him he's freaking awesome, yada, yada. Maybe I'll give him a financial little extra little $50, $20, whatever, something. But when I get a chance, but I want him to tell his employee that it was highly appreciated, and that I'm not just a loser. But either way, the guy saved my bacon. I got to the DMV about 4 o'clock, 4:30, something like that. I should have been back in town around noon 30, probably, and around 12:30. And 4 or 5 hours later, I show up. All is going to be well. My anxiety is no longer quite as high as it once was, because I have to be on a plane here in a couple hours, flying to Boise State, Idaho, to go see my daughter Mary, because she wants to be a doctor or whatever she's going to be, and she's in a beautiful city over there, and trying to get educated. So we're going to go visit her, and it's going to be fun. But I'll tell you what, my stress level has never been higher. I was like, everything that happened did. It was Murphy's Law, and there's not much you can do about it. When it comes to me, I'm used to doing things myself if need be. I mean, I have a lot of friends that they can make things happen with me or help me do whatever. But having the inability actually to fix your own tire on the side of a road with one arm and stuff, I could do it, and I was working on it, but geez, it's hard. I'll tell you that much right now. So there's certain things that that's kind of bumps me out, but I don't care. I'm happy to be alive. I'm here. And I always look at it like, what's going to come at me next? I love it. I mean, I love this roller coaster of life that God has given us. And it's just one thing after another. How many hurdles can you take? Yeah. And that's the rocky thing right behind you. Oh, how hard can you get hit and keep on going? Well, that's the goal in life. The goal in life is to better yourself. And that means as much as they can hit you, as much as you can keep on going in life, it makes you a better and bigger person. I guarantee you that, because just keep on going, It's amazing how strong we can be when we have to be,
Well, and the interesting thing too is that yesterday was the 5th anniversary of your intracranial hemorrhage.
Yeah, my hemorrhage. Yeah, my stroke. Yeah,
stroke, just for easier to remember. But yeah, 5 years ago. I'm sitting at home. My concern is, should we go to lunch and then Zoom, or should we? You know what I mean? I have nothing to worry about. And then you call me, and I'm like, everything is wrong. Everything on your end.
Everything's wrong. Well,
should I go to Ridgefield? But I figured I'd get there and you'd be done.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, Yeah, it's just like, and I don't worry about it, like I said, most time. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's interesting that it was the 5-year anniversary of my stroke, and that day is February 17th, by the way. So I had a couple friends reach out to me. Actually, I've had a ton of friends reach out to me and tell me, keep on going, and they're proud of me for being, once being dead or on my dead, whatever it was, bedridden for quite a while, and then now back to life, and I keep on going, and I'm gonna do that even if I get knocked down again. It takes a little while. I'll tell you what, this shit takes a little while to get back. I had to learn how to speak and basically move my body and move my everything. Cause it's like, and I know my arm and my hand don't work too well. I can give you a punch, but that's about it. I mean, It's like my hand's not working, my left hand very well. My left leg is not working too easily. And right now, the colder it gets, the harder it is for me. My body's tightened and straightened up, but it's getting there. I mean, it's a day by day grind. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to keep on moving forward and keep working out. And that's not even just working out physically. It's working out mentally, working out verbally. For me, it's verbally, and that's what we're doing here. That's why you're here, folks, to listen to me get better. No, but the same as Brian, if you don't work on this stuff, it just kind of fades away, and my ability to speak, I used to speak in public quite often. Actually, I used to have a radio show. I used to do all kinds of events as far as being a host or whatever, And now I can't do that because my brain and my mouth don't work too much. And now
you can, but I don't think it's insurmountable. Plus,
No, nothing's insurmountable, and I don't have a problem doing it. I actually highly enjoy it, obviously. So that's why we're here to talk
also-
about bad jokes. And
you also were natural for voiceovers, which you were going to get into.
yes, I used to do a lot of voices.
I think you still will.
Well, I might be able to. But the problem is I can't carry a bucket and a tune anymore, literally, or a tune in a bucket. Yeah, a tune in a bucket.
Speaking voice.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could theoretically do voices again. That may be something I might get into in the future. You never know. But it's just because when my brain is able to slow down and speak correctly, I can actually be a decent speaker.
Yeah.
You know,
When
when that comes to mind, I can do that. But a lot of times, and you have a great voice, sometimes very dark, deep, rich. I would say your voices are rich, gravelly. I mean, I realize maybe stuff is, you smoke cigars now and again. Maybe stuff is from that, but I don't think so. I think you're
neck surgery too. They had to cut in here, and he said it was going to make my voice gravelly.
Yeah, see, that's not bad at all. It's unique and it's good. I mean, you've got that when anybody slows down and you speak your mind, we always sound much better than if we're up here running like I am right now. I just run at a higher level and my voice goes up an octave and I just keep on going, yada yada yada. That's how it works. But either way, back to where we start on this, folks. You might have a shit day, you may have a horrible week, you may have a bad month, you might have to redo life a couple years. It's happened to me, but I guarantee you will find your way back to the light if you keep on searching. It's darker than hell. Find somebody to hold your hand. If you can't, know that somebody's there holding it for you and they'll walk you back into the light, because there's a lot of darkness out there in the world. And I'll tell you what, you will find it, guaranteed. Life is tough. It's not all full of rainbows and sunshines, babe, or whatever he says. But
but by the same token, what I like about the story is it's also filled with some guy in a white cargo van with skeletons who's actually
yeah, that was just I'm like, this guy pulls up. I'm trying to figure out who to ask, right? Because I'm like, the tow guy didn't have a truck on him, or he didn't have a hammer on him, or he have air or anything. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You were a knight in shining armor because he didn't have a hammer. He didn't have actually a breaker bar or anything. So I'm like, but that's okay. He's a great guy, super nice guy. And I'm like, well, with him and I, we could figure it out. And then there's a couple cars pulled up and they left. Then this cargo van, which should be a pedophile van, pulls up. It was crazy. And he's got these black skeletons. Oh, actually, it was white skeletons with black pictures all in the back of the van. I was like, what in God's weird? I didn't want to know. I'm thinking to myself, Metallica. I'm just going to think that he's just a rocker,
Yeah.
But either way,
heavy metal.
he comes out of the AM/PM with a long hair, black mask. And I'm like, I'm not afraid. I'm like, excuse me, pardon me. And he was so nice. He was just super nice, And that's the way that people are. It doesn't matter what they look like. If you need help, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And people want to be friends. They want to help people.
With all the fighting on Facebook and the different social media, we all think we're divided. Then that happens, and you realize he's just a guy who wants to help out another buddy, a guy. He's just helping.
Not even a buddy, just a guy. He's just trying to.
But you become his buddy. Hey, you need.
But now he's a buddy. Heck yeah. All he did was give me this giant hammer. But you know what? I didn't look for it. By the way, I did not look for blood residue on that hammer.
Yeah.
I could have. I didn't care at that point. I'm like, oh, just because it's a weird little, big cargo van with skeletons on it. Didn't even think about that. Didn't at all. But I thought, well, before I saw him and the van, I thought, it's kind of a pedophile van, candy inside or some odd bullshit. But he was. I didn't realize he was coming out AM/PM with a handful of candy. That's weird.
Yeah.
Now that's weird. But some Zots and some.
Zots, nice.
There you go. Anyway, yeah. But It was a hell of a day. I got back. I got my temporary ID, which is paper, by the way. They mailed me on the plane. We're gonna find out. And it was great because then my friend Brian said, you know what? For my anniversary, for my 5-year anniversary, you want to buy me lunch or dinner, which by the way, we got Chipotle, which is amazing. I don't care if you are, I mean, there's some great food around the area here, local food. But if you want a drive-through, not just a drive-through, if you want fast food, that's amazing. Chipotle is a pretty healthy place, I think.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great choice for anybody. I think that you've got some possibly some vegan options there. I don't quite know, but they do have some definitely some vegetarian options, I think.
Oh,
But
yeah.
either ways, it's just yummy and good stuff. So kudos to the Chipotle guy. By the way, I know that I read his story a while back, and well, I listened to his podcast, something he was on. But his story is amazing, by the way. So he hit that American dream, you know. Have borrowed a few $1,000s, made a couple from his father, and not the multi 400 million that somebody else did and ruined it. But this guy actually borrowed a few $1,000s from his father, started at Chipotle, I do believe in Boulder, Colorado, by the university. And wow, talk about doing it right. He apparently did. So kudos to him. I love business, and I love people who can grow a local business or a smaller business into something like that. That's the American dream. I mean, for some people don't want to work. Some people just want to have a picket fence, work their 40 hours for somebody else, and that's great. You know, if you want to be a worker and do that and just go to, you want to work at Chipotle or even McDonald's or whatever it is, you know. Some people just want a mind-numbing job, which is basically not maybe not mind-numbing job, but I mean, they're able to shut it off between the hours of 8 and 5 or whenever it is they work. I mean, that has never been something for me. I mean, my job has always been not always, but I've done physical jobs. But since I was able to, I've managed companies and little small things and stuff, and did marketing where. But I tried to do the baker's hours from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And of course, mine don't all go from 9 to 5. Mine go, I would always go 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, basically, whatever I was involved in. But because it's your life, it's your absolute life. If you're taking a job or career and making it your life, it's something you want to do, you're going to put as much hours into it as you want to, and as much as you can. It's not about money, it's about happiness. Now you grow that business, you know. I think that many people just take a job and they say, well, this is what I'll do for a few months or whatever, you know. If that's not what you want to do, then only do it until you have to. You know, you take a job and just says, hey, let's my goal is to be somewhere else. Well, then you better be working in that field somewhere. I don't care where it, you know, what it is, but you work in that field somewhere and you'll, you know, find your way in that position somehow. Becoming a manager of, I think I owned a company at the age of 19. I think I started with 19 or 21. I think I was 20, and I did that Ballooney Tunes with the flower and balloon delivery. It's like I realized then that pretty much I didn't want to work for anybody. I did get a job in a mill one time, kind of sort of thing, not in mill, but production stuff. Anyway, that's not for me. My thing is working for myself or working for somebody, helping the others. I mean, networking is kind of my gig. So I'm always, I know a guy, you know, no matter what it is, I know a guy because I've helped promote local business for so long that, you know, grow. And I want to see this area that I live in, you know, get better. So I'm off my soapbox there, Brian. How are you? That was only 10 minutes, I think, of rambling.
I'm doing good. I just got us a 2-month free trial of YouTube Premium, so there's no more ads for 2 months. So there you go. Free trial.
Wow, for me or you?
For the LB hour. So you go on that.
Hey, there you go.
2-month free trial. So they'll inform me a week before it expires. So we'll see how we like it.
Yeah.
I didn't do that as an act of kindness. I just got frustrated every time I had to see an ad because I have YouTube Premium.
Because when we're on my account, yeah, you see ads. Yeah, I know, I see that. And yeah, I think YouTube was probably purchased by Facebook now recently. I think maybe
Possibly. They all seem to buy each other out.
they do. Well, it's a. I want to have $1 billion today. No. I want to have $1 billion today. You know, they just go back and forth. Apparently, I don't know. I think that some of those things, some of those companies with the apps and stuff. Oh, by the way, I got my hair cut, and as I haven't done it with it this morning, but I'm getting ready for travel, so I figured we get something to get work on.
Yeah.
Sometime soon. I have people text me, "How was yesterday?" I'm like, ah! But oh, that's funny. I'm not gonna go there right now. But you know what? By the way, we should take this little show on the road and make it so it's a little more live. I mean, now that we're able to do this a little more often and make sure we're secure every day we're doing it, and we could do a live feed like that. It'd be kind of good. I mean, I wouldn't want. I think we could probably do a weekend episode with not live, you know. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to whatever.
Yeah, we will eventually go live. There's just a few little things we got to figure out, but I think it's not that hard.
Yeah, we got to figure out because I don't know, didn't want to do that at first. But if we're gonna continue to do the Friday Night Live, by the way, pardon me, apparently my poor man's mocha is coming back up to bite me. Poor man's mocha, by the way, is a drink sponsored by the LB Hour, the Pound Hour. It is hot chocolate, or actually, it's not. It's just Swiss. It's just Swiss mocha, baby, and Swiss mocha and chocolate and coffee. You know, why spend $4 or $5 for a drink every time when you can just sit at home and open up some Swiss Miss and make your own damn coffee? I'll tell you what, I actually enjoy that very much so. And you look like I stunned you there for a second.
Oh no, I'm fine. It's funny you brought up Zots at one point.
Oh yeah, well, I remember the Zots because you were on the show Sting and the King, right?
King and the Sting, right?
The King and the Sting. Yeah.
King and the Sting, actually, to be specific, just if anybody wants to see it, King and the Sting episode 39.
Oh, there you go. Brian was on.
Yeah.
The King and the Sting, episode 39, talking about Zots versus
Pop Rock.
Pop Rocks. And, you know, so speaking of which, folks, for you, what would you choose if you had to eat one of those things? I think I would not like the Pop Rocks. I think I'd like the Zots myself.
Well, the funny thing is, these guys are young, right? They're 36, 38. One of them didn't know what Zots was. They didn't know who Martin and Lewis were. They didn't.
Did you? By the way, did you send them Zots?
No.
You should do that. You should really do that. I would, because if they don't know, you know, I would definitely say, hey, you know, this is a. Want to let you know that this is a, you know, feel free to eat it. It's not gonna. I'm not trying to poison you, but this is what we talked about, the Zots and stuff. I think it'd be great. And the Zots are great. They were probably the best, the first ones. It was like a candy coated baking soda.
It was the first one to have like an infusion of some sort of like a
yeah, and then it went to Warheads, which were basically candy coated baking soda with poison inside of it. I'm just kidding.
Well,
but
one of the guys was talking about Warheads. He was
Warheads were tough. That was the second stage, and then all of a sudden you started with a ton of other ones. You know, it's like you know, crybaby stuff and all the stuff to make you gag, basically hit that back note in your throat that says, I can't. My teeth don't work now because it's so sour.
Yeah,
makes you pucker.
Well, it's funny too because one of them is Theo Vaughn. He's a noted comedian, but he thought Martin and Lewis were the two guys that went across the country, Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
But they were able to talk for 10 minutes about candy. They went on.
Yeah, well, candy's good stuff, man. I don't know. Speaking of candy, Okay, let's stop for 1 second here. I'm sure I've probably asked this question before because I do have like to ponder your questions quite often. When you were a child, what was your favorite candy?
I would say Zots. I remember we used to go to baseball games and we'd get Zots.
The baseball games, they always had them. Yep, that's right. It's true.
Portland Beavers had them.
My favorite candy as a kid, mind you, was called the Marathon Bar, which if you remember that or not, it's a big, huge, just chocolate and caramel. And then I think I liked. They went away in the 70s. I think. I mean, I was in the 70s, but they went away probably in 1980. I bet you. Yeah. And then now, if I was to have a candy now, let me think. I actually like espresso beans because you see me have that thing of candy here with that stuff. Espresso beans is the adult candy. But if I was gonna have candy, which by the way, I'm thinking of right now, which I would love to see, I'm going to get a glass candy dish with Hard Rock candy.
Oh wow!
Like my grandparents used to have for Christmas. It was like every time you have to remember those things.
Oh yeah.
It'd be like a rock of different kinds of candy. Just you have to like take a chisel to it and get a piece off of it. And well, I think what happened maybe because I would suck on a piece and put it back in there, and that's what made them all. I don't know. I don't know why it did that, but it just seemed like they were all rock solid most of the time.
Yeah. Now here's a blast from the past. Do you remember this candy bar?
No.
Yeah, that was big in the 70s.
It looks good. It looks like a.
It looks like a granola bar.
It looks really. I mean, it looks really yum though. I am a huge toasted coconut fan, so
yeah,
it looks like a Butterfinger without peanut butter or without chocolate.
Yeah,
it looks exactly like well, just like that. No, Butterfinger without chocolate.
Yeah, it was pretty popular in the 70s, and then you had the Clark bar and all these weird candy bars.
Yeah.
And then so that was in the 70s, and then times changed, and right now I'm going to show you the #1 candy in the 80s right here. This was #1 in the 80s. Everybody, you see that?
Nope.
Sorry,
it disappeared.
The #1 candy in the 80s. See that?
Nose candy. There you go. Nose candy. You're horrible, Brian. Horrible person.
I was never into it. It hyped me up too much. Maybe just talk nonstop. So.
Well, I'm going to steal it now because I know you're going to say it. What are you going to say?
No, it's your joke now. I've given that one up.
No, the thing was, I never liked the smell. I mean, I never liked the cocaine. I just love the smell.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the joke? I don't like cocaine. I just like the smell. Yeah, no, it's horrible. Horrible.
I stole that from a guy. Told it in, open mics and stuff. And then several comedians have stolen that joke from me. So it's not an original. It's just fun.
It's good. There's not much nothing else you can do like that. I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. But no, candy and stuff as a kid was great. My teeth they weren't happy with it. My teeth weren't. Later on in life, I had I don't know how many cavities as a kid, but and my body didn't like it really either because but you know what? You can't grow up just eating cauliflower.
No. Well, people used to snort cocaine off album covers, but you're advised not to use the white album.
There you go. You'd lose some. I get it. There you go. No, that'd be.
And there's a scene in Annie Hall from the 70s where Woody Allen's around everybody. They're doing coke. He looks at it and sneezes. And
oh yeah, I remember that. Whew, and he's like, he blew like $1,400 with my good blow or something like that. Yeah, that's a good one. It's funny actually if you look under. When I was a kid, I never really paid attention to lyrics much, but in the 80s and so forth, there's a lot of songs and stuff that talk about drugs and cocaine and whatnot.
Oh yeah. I
mean, just so many drug references in songs.
Oh yeah.
But it's like nowadays rap, the newer rap they have out there that talks, the lyrics are so horrific, but they're so fast and so just kind of to the beat, you know. But boom, 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 just you know, and everybody in the world, you start hearing the words, and so you start singing the words, not realizing those lyrics are pretty god awful. I mean, I remember having good-looking people going, ba-da-boom, ba-doo-ba-boom, ba-da-boom, ba-boom, and they go, you know, some little old ladies singing, to the window, to the walls, the sweat about my butt. They didn't realize what they're saying, you know what I mean? Because it just comes. It's like, that's a word. I didn't mean it comes. It just goes. It flows. It comes, goes, and flows, basically.
Oh,
But the window to the walls, you're just like, and they didn't even realize what the words are. They just think it's, you know, what is it about? It's about, you know, it's about washing the car, Mom. Kidding. It's, you know, it's pretty funny. It's the window to the walls. Yeah. Those songs, there's so many out there though. It's like, you know, all of a sudden that tricky little hum goes, everybody say, hey, we want some booty. You know, these songs get stuck in your head because they gravitate right to the beat of your heart. Everybody, hey, going, yeah, you didn't even realize that your being is totally, I would say, rude as hell, basically trying to, you know, misogynistic or whatever it is, or even racist. I sang those songs my 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, all that rap stuff, and I loved it. I mean,
yeah.
But you know, and it derived from some of the most racist places in the world, but not racist. I mean, these people were like when 2 Live Crew came out and NWA and all this stuff. They came from a very hard place, you know. From 2 Live Crew was from Florida, I think, but the rest of them, they came from like Compton, California. They had been through some hard times.
Oh yeah.
And so they're singing their song, they're letting everybody in the world know what is going on in the world today, in their world, because the world that they have and the world that we have are so different. You know, no way in God's green earth would I have thought that what I saw, what I heard about was actually real.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the other day at Washington, D.C., I heard that there was this riot in the Capitol, right? Because it's 1,000 miles away. I didn't think it was actually like, how bad was it, right? And so actually, when they had the impeachment trials, or not impeachment trials, but the impeachment trial, actually, the second impeachment trial for Donald J. Trump, they showed how bad those riots really were. And that is horrific. I mean, they went in the Capitol, they stormed our Capitol with the flags of flags of Donald Trump and flags of the
Confederacy.
what's that? Confederacy. Yeah, the Confederate flags and so forth. And they basically stomped on our flags and they beat our police officers with their flags. That's how bad this got, and it happened. And they are attempting to take over they wanted to kill some of the people that we've actually elected in office. We actually have elected AOC and Mike Pence and all that stuff. They were on a hunt to kill these people that we're supposed to be protecting, you know, because they're protecting us. Whether or not we be right, left, or center, point is that we can't ever let that happen again. That's ridiculous. I mean,
I'm gonna go back to the cocaine storyline here. And in the 80s, there was an anti-cocaine song. Do you remember this one? Grandmaster Flash, White Lines, Bull.
Oh, White Lines, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, play it for me just a split second.
No, I'm not gonna be singing.
We're too afraid to talk about anything, folks. It'll bring up
we can show this graphic, but if you play it, then you got copyright. But it's a good one. It's got businessman gets busted and all that. It's a pretty cool song. It's anti.
If you want to ride, then ride the white horse, right?
Yeah, white line, blow away.
Yeah, but if you want to ride, then ride the white pony, you know.
I'm not sure about that part. I just remember it was fast paced and it was a real good dance song back in the 80s.
White lines.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. I love the 80s music, by the way. So anybody out there who hasn't really found a genre that you enjoy, check out the 80s because it's amazing. You got, you know, everything from where the rap started to where the disco ended.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, I think the first rap song I think was from Rapper's Delight from Sugar Hill Gang, actually out of New York City.
Yeah.
When they were actually shooting from they were going from disco to rap, actually. So it was pretty good. I think that yeah, they're going from disco to rap. There wasn't anything in between there, I don't think. So disco to rap. And the night the disco died, Brian, what was that, 78? Something like that?
79, I believe.
Wow, my history's getting better though, because I had no idea about that. So the day the disco died was 79. If you don't know that story, by the way, another little great little videos or something you can learn about that one. That's basically one night the DJ got fired. Am I correct? Something like this, and he decided to tell the story on that one. Actually, Ryan.
Well, what happened was his station switched from rock or whatever to disco. He got mad, so he had this big promotion in Chicago at a baseball game. Bring in your album, we're gonna blow them up, and you get in free. It was a horrible event. It was a low point to me of society. It's like, if I don't like music, I'm not gonna blow it up. I'm just not gonna listen. It
was basically our you know how the Nazis were burning books, or they were burning books. One night this thing happened and it became so huge. It's almost like, you know, nowadays when something happens and people show up in one night and they start doing protesting.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And the guy said, hey, he got on the radio. He had thousands of fans. He said, hey, show up down here at the baseball game. We'll get you in for free. Just burn or bring a disco CD for us to burn, because I hate disco and we're going to kill disco tonight. And that's what happened. He literally killed disco one night.
Yeah, it was albums, and it was it was really weird. It's like he didn't like disco, that's fine, but to try to destroy a genre, because there were a lot of people that liked it. I'm not saying it was racist, but coincidentally, the people that tended to like disco were not white. So I
think that disco was going this way, and all of a sudden you went rap down here and hip hop that way. So they split. When they split, you have like Michael Jackson took his own little way, and you got these other Rappers Delight from Sugar Hill Gang. You have then right after that spurred Run DMC, spurred all these other Grandmaster Flash, and all these others from the early 80s. And then you have for the white people out there, not that it matters, but Beastie Boys, boom, and all of a sudden it was just amazing. This whole little genre of music was born, really. And I know that the genre of rap music was done way before the Beastie Boys, but the fact is that for a lot of the Caucasian people out there, they never heard of other stuff, you know, and all of a sudden regular society, mainstream society was playing rap. So it was pretty darn cool. It was just kind of a neat thing for me to, you know, I realized I couldn't listen to Too Short on the radio. If anybody knows who Too Short is, that wasn't going to happen. I hope not, anyway. I mean, I love Too Short, but that's not the music you want to hear on the radio. You want to hear love music, but not making love music on the radio. You don't want to hear pornography on the radio.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, speaking of music, and you've watched this guy, he's not your cup of tea. However, if somebody's really into old music, 70s and 80s, I got to give this guy a plug. And you like his glasses, so let's see this guy. Professor of Rock, he has the same hat. This guy will go deep into every song from the past. So for people that are really into music like that and in the 80s and 70s, this is your guy. So I gave him a little plug. And you were saying his glasses, the Zenni glasses, are a pretty nice.
Well, yeah. Well, I wore those glasses for a long time. Nowadays, actually, I'm going to tell you something right now that I'm very, very proud of. I'm going to show you. Now that you brought glasses up, actually. So while I had to go get a new license yesterday, and it's being mailed to me, and I have to take my old ones with me. There's my old ID, by the way. I will my finger over there, but that's my old ID, right? And from years ago, right? And that's the old one. But if you notice on here, it says restrictions. C for corrective lenses, right?
Oh,
And then yesterday, my new one does not have the corrective lenses on it because I no longer require corrective lenses because I'm no longer blind.
really?
Oh, yes. So that was something you can pay for, folks. And it's one of the best options I've done in my life was to get the LASIK surgery. So I got LASIK. I can see through walls now. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see right through them. It's like, oh, what does that say? Oh, boom, boom. Not a problem. I can see that stuff. And so, mind you, my LASIK surgeon, I made sure that he had actually he had done over 25,000 eyes. And if you hear this, go to LASIK Plus in Beaverton and write my name down as a reference, Lonnie Knowles, to LASIK Plus, because I referred you, and I think I get a free T-shirt or some thing to kick back when you do that, when you refer somebody. But yeah, so go to LASIK Plus. They've had over 30,000 eyes now, and 30,000 eyes is the exact amount of eyes that I need to have done before I get in the year. Because I was so scared to get my LASIK eyes. What else do you have in life? You got your hearing, you got your eyesight. If you lose that stuff, it's pretty scary. So, but I've been through a lot worse than LASIK surgery, and so I was like, shit, do it. Make yourself happy. It's like getting a boob job, I think, in particular.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, go for it. I mean, I'm not a proponent for getting a boob job at all, actually. But the point is that it's something that bugs you that badly, to the point where, it might help you. It might help your self-esteem. It might help whatever it's going to help you do in your life. I don't know how a boob job can help anybody, but I know that self-esteem is huge. So
Yeah.
if that's all it takes for you to
I get a haircut, suddenly I feel better. I mean,
right. Yep. No, I get a haircut. I put on a jacket. I normally wear a sports jacket and a t-shirt, but it's wintertime. I haven't been doing much of that right now. But that's okay. My meetings have dwindled down quite a bit because of this pandemic and stuff, and so I'm not getting out quite as often as I need to be. But I try to, stay inside, wear my mask, and I don't know. I'm doing what I can do.
Yeah.
Trying.
Well, it's funny because
got to exercise and stuff.
the Professor of Rock is kind of like the Cliff Clavin of music. I mean, he knows too much.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's really interesting because, people always say, "Where do ideas come from?" Well, Sting, remember that song "King of Pain"?
Yeah.
Okay, that started because he and his girlfriend, who became his wife later, they're looking up at the sky, and she said, "There's a little black spot on the sun today." And he said to her, because he's kind of a cynic or whatever, he said, "Yeah, the same old thing as yesterday." And that was the song right there. Once he got that, so she basically started the song.
Well, actually, that's a pretty amazing song.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, there is a black spot in the sun, which is weird. I never figured that one out. I haven't looked into that too much, but there's a little black spot in the sun today. The
Same old thing as yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great song.
Apparently God put that spot on there simply for Sting. That's all.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
He's got a bit of an ego.
Well, I'm not sure you remember the name Ron Jeremy, right? He has the same type of song out there, but he almost lost the lyrics for it. It's called The King of Stain. You know what? And that's a bad joke. Let's just get. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes that brain just goes in the wrong direction.
Now, if there's a little black spot on your skin, though, you should get it checked.
Yes, you should. And I have one of my best friends who has one of those little black spots right there. And if he ever watches this show, I'll send it to him. But yeah, and they come to find out, guess what? It's cancer, actually.
Oh.
But if he doesn't do anything about it, it won't go bad, apparently. I don't know. But he's in the sun 14 hours a day. So you see, how's that possible? Because he's down lower than we are. He has in Arizona, I think he's up at the crack of dawn and they're in the sunlight all the time there. It doesn't go dark.
Well, people that like to complain a lot, I tell them to get a catchphrase like that. So, about it's my destiny to be the king of pain. If you're a put upon person, it's your destiny.
Oh, yeah, I know. The book of Job. I understand. Sometimes, like yesterday, we can think that you are Job and that one thing happens after another. And I'm like, well, and I don't mean to be I'm the king of pain.
No, it was your destiny to get through it somehow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But that's
then your bad luck for the day continued. We go order a bunch of food and we get home and one of the items isn't there. So.
Right. Yeah. One of the items that
they're taking care of it. Everything's good. So.
Did they take care of it last night?
No, they're gonna take care of it. I decided I'll just go in and
get a free lunch out of the deal. There you go.
Yeah, or just get what I paid for already, so it's no big deal. So they followed up, so that was good. Chipotle.
Yeah, but it was yeah, they're a great place. But yeah, it's
chicken quesadilla that looks really good.
And what's funny is that I probably told half a dozen people yesterday when they'd say, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna have a drink. Fuck, I'm gonna go home and make a drink because I could use it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or go get in the hot tub or something, relax. But did I do that? No, I don't ever need a drink, ever need it's not going to help anybody, it might relax me if no big deal. I mean, somebody wants to have a drink, more power to them, but it's not I don't have to have a drink. You know what I mean? Anything like that ever. It's like, I don't ever want to get hooked on drugs or hooked on, I ended up being on medication for a long time and I'm still on some, mind you, but not very much as I was. I was taking a handful of pills a day, 4 times a day, actually. So, and it was going to kill my liver or kidneys or whatever, and that would not have been good. I'd probably be I'll have an iron, not iron lung, but I'd have been getting some shit done right now for my body if I had to have all those pills. So it took them a few weeks to figure out my blood pressure was so erratic in ICU for a few weeks there. So, but they figured it out eventually. And when they did, I'm, good to go.
Well,
thank God.
For people with small hands, a handful of pills can be simply one pill. So, of course, everybody knows I have the big hands, but I can make jokes about people with small hands. I think it's okay.
Well, I think in particular,
as long as I don't name names. Oh, I am not going to hire any male presidents with small hands. Well, we watched a movie last night. It was really good. Remember this one? Right here. You see it?
No, well, you're too quick on the draw on that one, buddy. I cannot see anything.
There you go.
Oh, that's a great movie. That was an amazing. Oh, One Night in Miami. Actually, you know what? One Night in Miami was a pretty darn good movie. And it is historical, and it's got Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke,
Jim Brown,
Malcolm X, and Jim Brown, and that's a pretty damn good movie, actually. I know that's a very good movie. I will say one thing, because it wasn't about fighting.
No,
it wasn't about boxing, and I was gonna say early on, it's like, well, it doesn't have the best boxing fighting scenes. You know what I mean? It's a great movie. It's a great
Yeah.
movie. It's a great acting on all of them. But I was like, it doesn't have the best boxing. You know, I mean, it wasn't like. But then Don, I mean, that's not what it's about. You know.
It was really about four men at the top of the world, and four black men at the top of the world in their professions, and just them arguing and talking it out, and it was.
And their friendships, yeah, and what they've, if you're not, you have to be aware of this, but Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay,
Yeah.
and this is actually, it's about Cassius Clay, actually, right? This is not about Muhammad Ali. Well, it's about Muhammad Ali, but I mean, it was when he was Cassius Clay and when he was transferring over to become a Muslim, and
the night before he made it official.
Yep, the night before he made it official, but it was pretty crazy, and more power to them as far as doing what they want to do as far as with their life and stuff, because those guys were so powerful at the time. Jim Brown was probably one of the toughest dudes around, man. He was NFL. Yeah. He was a big man, and they were in a hard time. Matter of fact, can you show us the movie that we watched the night before last, or a couple nights ago?
Oh, well, I could show it. Let me get that. It was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah, and that was very. I like that one maybe a little more. They're both really good.
Oh yeah. Well, the One Night in Miami was a great movie, but it was a conversation. It was them in a motel room, basically. So
Yep.
Black Messiah was action and torment and all kinds of stuff. Oh, but before we go to that one, well, I lost my point, but there's a good point about that movie. So
Brian, look right back there. Look right behind you. Right behind you on the floor. Your point is down. You dropped it. It's right down the floor. There it is.
Okay.
You lost your point. That's the turn.
Okay.
Try to find it. There you go. No, but speaking of which, what time are we at before we get?
Almost done.
We can look into this movie if you got in front of you. If you got it rolled up there. We can do that.
This one really quick. Yeah, it was just to see the conversations, and then the whole thing with Jim Brown. His character really came off really good. Oh, I do want to say there's a scene early in the movie, One Night in Miami, that jars you. I won't talk too much about it, but he goes to have lemonade on the white man's porch, and you think everything's good. Then he goes in to help him move something, and it changed. Oh God, it was
a great movie. Yeah, that's a great.
Isn't that a moment like a gut punch? And he said.
Yeah, when he said what he said, and I know that the actor inside that one was, what's his name, Bridges.
Beau Bridges.
Beau Bridges. And I know that Beau Bridges is probably a good guy. And I hate them having to say things, but just them saying things like that makes an impact. So hopefully people don't hold that against him because of what he said. Now this movie here, the Judas and the Black Messiah. Where's it at? Oh, we lost it.
See, I'm on like an opposite now. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that was great.
There we go. That's the movie right there, folks. Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't know about the podcast. I don't know about that.
Well, they do a podcast too.
That's pretty cool. Well, that is I can't tell you the highlights of it because it's all historical. So theoretically,
we will tell you though the role of Judas with this guy.
Yep.
And it was about Fred Hampton, early leader of the
Black Panthers. Yeah, it was a great movie, a great portrayal of that time. And what people don't realize is that you hear this Black Panther and how horrible they are and stuff, but in actuality, I mean, when I grew up, that's all I heard. Black Panthers, Black Power, how horrible they were. Now you, Brian, who came before me, who actually lived during the time of the Black Panthers, right?
Yeah.
You knew differently, and you talked about it when we watched this movie, and I learned about it because now I know what the struggles were and what they were actually trying to accomplish because I watched that movie.
Yeah.
So you
started off with the good intentions. They were doing free food for the kids, lunches. They were getting people medical care clinics, and then things went off the rails. We won't give away too much, but yeah.
Yeah, but
I saw
they-
Black Panthers in a positive light growing up. I kind of, it sounds weird, but I remember as a kid, I idolized the early Black Panthers. Just
Yeah,
the
well,
concept.
all they were trying to do was give the people, the African American people in America, some of the necessities that the white people were
Yeah.
giving
Power
to
to the
them.
people.
Yeah,
It's
power to the people. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not I mean, to each their own. I realize this, but we're all just wearing a skin, and that skin can be coated in whatever color. It doesn't really matter. We're all the same. So I don't really, our backgrounds are all different, but I guarantee you, like yesterday, I hate to say this, but like yesterday, our backgrounds are all the same, but we all want to help humanity.
Yeah. Well, that guy's a great example. Both those guys, the towing guy and the guy with the van.
But yes, but the pedophile, the Rocky pedophile, come out of the van. He wanted to help. I'm kidding. You know what? And I'm sorry, because if you ever watched the show,
For me, the first thought is he's not a pedophile, because if you're a pedophile, you sure as hell aren't going to put things that look like you're a pedophile.
I know, right? No, but he's a rock and roller, and he's got the skulls over his freaking van, and it's just totally rock and roll. It's just the white van. I don't know. It was just and the long hair and stuff. That's great. It's just not mine. So I don't care. I love all people. So I don't care what you're dressed as. I work with millionaires and I work with the homeless. So it's I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Shit. But I'm a human being in trouble or in need. And if I can help another, I'm going to. That's what other people do that. They feel that, they see that a friend in need is a friend indeed. And that'll be written on my tombstone.
Okay, before we leave, I want to say that the thing that kind of got me into the Black Panthers is when I think it was Tommy Smith and John Carlos, the guy won the gold medal, and instead of when the anthem was going, he did a Black Power salute. They took away his gold medal and pretty much destroyed his life. And as a kid, I thought, why'd they do that? America, land of the free. I was like,
right.
Oh. As a little kid, it was confusing.
So a guy won a gold medal, and he, what was his name?
It was Tommy Smith and John Carlos. One of them won the gold, one of them won the bronze. And when they raised that hand, they were done.
They raised their hand at the Olympics.
Yeah, on the podium.
And then they got stripped of their gold medals. So I hope, in particular,
I think they got them back years later.
Yeah, I hope so. Maybe but then again,
land of the free, unless they don't like what you're saying.
Right? Yeah, no, it's true. It's true on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. There's certain things, certain times, and certain things in particular. But they took that platform and utilized it for. And if it was anti-American,
no,
I get that. But I'm saying if it's anti-American, no. Now,
totally
if it's
different story.
Yeah, totally different story. So
it should have been. It should have been a great moment for America, because what it was Black Power. We're part of it too. We're winning a gold medal for our country and Black Power. That should have been
right. But listen, if you want to, I mean, this is true, Brian. But if you haven't watched that movie, by the way, then you wouldn't. Sure, a lot of people wouldn't know that. So watch the movie Black Judas, or Black. What is it called? Judas and the Black Messiah. So watch that movie. It's a good one. Educate yourself a little bit, folks. And in the meanwhile, I'm getting out of here for a couple of days, and we may talk over the weekend. We may not. If I can, I will. But we're gonna pound out. So remember, pounding out is basically we 1, 2, 3 Rochambeau. We rock, paper, scissors. That's our pound. 1, 2, 3. Ready, Brian?
Yeah, well, just a minute. I want to say that in the next 3 days, I'll just talk to myself, but not on the internet. I'll just walk around the house talking to myself. So there you go.
Guarantee it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that, folks. Oh my gosh.
The drought is over.
It's all broken. You know why it was broken? Because we didn't get to do yesterday.
Yeah, you did like 5 or 6 in a row. So
Yeah, what
drought
do
is
you do
over. That
yesterday?
means Cleveland Browns will win the NFL title next year.
That's right. There we go, folks. Okay, listen, I will talk to you very soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye. Ah!
I thought he was going to sign us out, so let me shut it down.